Hello, welcome. Episode number 6 on coordinate geometry 1. Here we are picking the midpoint of a line segment. When we talk of midpoint, we are referring to halfway, the endpoint of the line segment. So if I'm taking line segment AB, what will be the midpoint? In the middle, halfway through the journey, from the right to the left, the distance between the midpoint and the left should be the same as the distance between the midpoint and the right. So using this as a visual point of contact, the distance between point A and B is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 units. So from the left, 2 units in halfway, from the right, 2 units in. So 1, 2. So I'll be expecting my midpoint. If this line is drawn to scale, if you measure from A to B, should be the same as from A to the midpoint, should be the same as from the midpoint to that of B. Now let's indicate the point here. The point for B will be 1 on the x-axis, then 2 on the y-axis. That's the point where B is located. Then the point where A is located is -3 on the x-axis, 2 on the y-axis. Now let's indicate the midpoint. What is the coordinate of the midpoint? The x-axis is -1. The y-axis still remain what? 2. Now let's look at the relationship between the points. You can see -3, 1. -1, 2, 2, 2. So we want to see how we can do that. If we are beginning from here, I can see that if I pick the x coordinate, which is -3 here, add 1 to it, I'm adding this point. What will I get? I'll be getting -2, right? This is for the x coordinate. The y coordinate. If I pick the y coordinate, it will be 2 plus 2, and that will give me what? 4. What is the relationship between -2, 4, -1, 2? We can see that half of 4 will give you 2. Half of -2 will give you -1, which is the definition of halfway through. Halfway through AB, half of the journey. Moving from A to the middle, from B to the middle, halfway. So if I find the sum or the arithmetic average of the x coordinate, the half of that, if I find the average of that, I'll be getting the coordinate for the midpoint. So if this is our, here we have x1, y1 as the beginning point, we have x2, y2 as the end point. If I'm looking for the midpoint, what I can do is that I pick x1 and add x2. Find half of that, meaning divided by 2. Because if you divide this by 2, you get -1. Divide it by 2, you get what? +2. Then that gives us the x coordinate. The y coordinate will be y1 plus y2 also divided by 2. That gives you the midpoint. So in finding midpoint, let me use x3, y3 will be given as x1, x2 plus 2, y1, y2 over 2. So this gives us the formula for finding the midpoint, so that's referring to line segment. So we can pick this as the midpoint formula, which in some cases we can factorize the half out, leaving x1 plus x2 in 1. Then we have our y1 plus what? y2. We know when the half is also factorized, we can just add the coordinate of xx, yy, then find half of that result. That gives us our midpoint. I'm sure the concept is clear. So let's see. So let's say we are given this, given the point A, 1 minus 3, B, 4, 5. We have to find the coordinate of the point of the midpoint. that join the line A and B. So we know our A is 1, and let me write solution. So A is 1 minus 3, B is 4, 5. While in the case of labeling, we can also label this as our x1, y1, x2, y2. So finding the midpoint, which is x, y, quoting the formula right away from here, I can have my x1, which is 1, plus x2, 4, all divided by what? 2. I can introduce bracket, comma, that is for the x coordinate. Then I have my y1, which is minus 3, plus y2, which is 5, also divided by what? 2. I can put this together to form the x coordinate, then the y coordinate. This is going to be, if you add 1 and 4, you get 5. 5 divided by 2 will give you 2.5 as the first coordinate on the x-axis. Then minus 3 plus 5 will also mean 5 minus 3, which will be 2. 2 divided by 2 will give you 1. So the coordinate of the midpoint that join the point A and B will just be 2.5 on the x-axis, 1 on the y-axis. So I'm sure the idea from here translated into the formula help us to be able to find midpoint of any given line. I guess the concept is clear. Like, share, and comment. Don't forget to subscribe if you are new to the channel. Bye-bye.